Welcome to anthropology classes at Vijayata IAS Academy. Today we will see introduction to anthropology, the scope of anthropology and development of anthropology. See, this term anthropology was coined by Aristotle. This is made up of two words, anthropos and logos. Anthropos stands for man and logos stands for study. So anthropology simply means the study of man. According to A. L. Kroeber, anthropology is the science of man. This is the most simplest definition of anthropology. If you can see, initially they were using the word man, and this term is not a gender neutral term. So due to feminism, they have replaced this term man with human being. So always advisable to write a gender neutral term. So what is anthropology now? Is simply the study of human beings. So this is the most simplest definition of anthropology, which is the study of human beings. A most holistic definition of anthropology is anthropology is a holistic subject which studies about various aspects of human being at different levels at different times and at different spaces. Further, this anthropology is interdisciplinary in nature, which is having an integrated approach. So combining all these things, you can say anthropology is a holistic subject which deals with the study of various aspects of human beings at different levels, at different times, and at different spaces. And anthropology is interdisciplinary in nature and has an integrated approach. So if you have to see holistic subject, if you see this term holistic subject, it becomes holistic subject because of its interdisciplinary nature and because it adopts an integrated approach. And then what are these different levels? Different levels means from simple to complex societies, or maybe you can write some from primitive to modern societies, or maybe from tribal to rural to urban societies. At different times is from past to present and also future perspective. At different spaces, spaces means variations that occur at any given point of time. So by understanding this definition of anthropology, we can understand the total meaning of anthropology. So what is anthropology? It is a holistic subject which deals with various aspects of human beings at different levels, different times, and at different spaces, and it adopts an integrated approach, and it is interdisciplinary in nature. So we have seen what do you mean by level, which is simply from simple to complex, or primitive to modern, tribal, rural, or urban. And at different times means past, present, and future. At different spaces is variations that occur at any given point of time. So what is this term interdisciplinary? Interdisciplinary, inter means between, different disciplines. So anthropology includes the study of various other disciplines like social sciences, life sciences, humanities, etc. So that is why it becomes interdisciplinary in nature, because it is overlapping with many other disciplines. And it also integrates all these disciplines to get a holistic perspective of human beings. So it is an integrated approach. So therefore anthropology is considered as half science and half arts. It is also known as bio-social science. That means it is half biological science, half social science. Anthropology also is regarded as a relatively young subject compared to other subjects. It is a relatively young subject. So what is anthropology? Anthropology simply means study of man. Because the word man does not indicate the other gender, which is women, and due to feminism, the word man has been replaced by human being. So anthropology is simply the study of human being. Is the most simplest definition, and according to Alfred L. Kroeber, we have also seen anthropology is science of man. But the most holistic definition of anthropology we have seen, to understand the meaning of anthropology, what is it? Anthropology is a holistic subject that studies or deals with various aspects of human being at a different levels, different times, and at different spaces. It is interdisciplinary in nature and has integrated approach. And we have also seen that anthropology is half science, half arts. So anthropology is regarded as a biosocial science, or maybe half biological science, half social science. And amongst all the disciplines, anthropology is considered as one of the youngest subject. So this is what is the meaning of anthropology. You can write some definitions given by different scholars on anthropology. So the most basic definition you can write one more time. A. L. Kroeber, Alfred L. Kroeber, which is the science of anthropology is science of man. Anthropology is science of man. According to Melville, Melville, Melville J. Herskovits, anthropology is the study of man and his works. Anthropology is the study of man and his works. According to Margaret Mead, fundamentals of anthropology are essential for wisdom. According to Ruth Benedict, the purpose of anthropology is to make the whole world safe for human differences. According to Clyde Kluckhohn, Kluckhon, out of all sciences, that deals with various studies of man, anthropology comes closest to the study of all possible aspects of man. According to Charlotte Neely, anthropology is more than a career. Anthropology is more than a career. Further, in the same sentence you write, anthropology is more than a career, full stop. Anthropology is a way of life. She further adds, no need to write, she further adds. So what is it? Anthropology, according to Charlotte, anthropology is more than a career. It is a way of life. And she further adds, in whatever I do, I am an anthropologist. In whatever I do, I am an anthropologist. So even knowingly or unknowingly, whether you have studied anthropology or you haven't studied anthropology, all of us are anthropologists. Why? For just being a human being. We are always curious to know about different societies. We are always curious to know about different cultures. We are always curious to know about some supernatural things. We are always curious about knowing the origin of human beings. We are also curious about every aspect associated with human being, because human being is the most intelligent of all animals in the animal kingdom. He is the most evolved one, and definitely human being has created an environment of their own, because he learned very well about the environment. He was able to show his control over various elements of the nature, and he was able to effectively exploit them for well-being. Understood? So yes, this is a wonderful way of telling about anthropology. That is, anthropology is more than a career. It is a way of life. In whatever I do, I am an anthropologist. Simply you can write, anthropology is part of life. Anthropology is part of life. So these are some definitions or some quotations of different social scientists or anthropologists on the subject anthropology. So what are this most simplest definition? Anthropology is the science of man. According to whom? Alfred L. Kroeber. You can write another saying of Alfred L. Kroeber. According to him, anthropology is the most humanistic of the sciences, and most scientific of all humanities. So this further justifies the nature of the subject. It is a biosocial science. Understood? So no need to write that point, but generally there is also a wonderful saying, because it is most humanistic of the sciences and most scientific of the humanities. So yes, it is a biosocial science, half science, half arts, half biological science, half social science. So these are the definitions of anthropology, which try to give some meaning about anthropology, the subject, isn't it? So Alfred L. Kroeber says anthropology is the science of man. He further adds anthropology is the most humanistic of all sciences and most scientific of the humanities, isn't it? And then we have also seen the definition of Melville J. Herskovits, who says that anthropology is the study of man and his works. So what are those works? So many are there. Whatever we are seeing, this is all these are the works created by human being. The clothes that we are wearing, isn't it? The food that we are having, we are cooking the food, we invented fire, we invented wheel, we invented so many things, isn't it? From hunting gathering society, we started agriculture, we started pastoralism because of domestication of plants and animals. So there came agriculture and pastoral societies, isn't it? And then social advancement took place, and we are in the modern era of digitalization, isn't it? Most modern, artificial intelligence, isn't it? Big data, so many things. So technological advancements. So yes, Melville J. Herskovits, anthropology is the study of man and his works. Then we have seen the definition of who? Margaret Mead. So according to Margaret Mead, the fundamentals of anthropology are essential for wisdom. So after studying anthropology, you are all becoming wise, isn't it? Because it opens up new avenues to understand different societies across the world. Because Kofi Annan says we have different religions, different languages, and we have different colored skin, but all of us belong to one race, which is human beings. So you can write this one. According to Kofi Annan, we have different religions, we have different languages, we have different colored skin, but we all belong to one human race. Yes, there are so many variations, isn't it? So here in this context you can further write anthropology upholds human diversity. Anthropology upholds human diversity. and this diversity should be appreciated and respected. This diversity should be appreciated and respected. Yes, in spite of having so many differences in culture, in food habits, isn't it? Food habits are also part of culture. Dressing style, the way we look, the way we behave, what we speak, the languages that we speak, our outward appearance, the physical appearance, all these things vary from place to place. But in spite of all these things, we all belong to one human race. Yes, that is why it is rightly justified by saying that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. What does that mean? Whole world is one family, and we belong to the family of human beings, isn't it? And next definition, what we have seen after Margaret Mead was that of Ruth Benedict. So Ruth Benedict and Margaret Mead are both well-known women anthropologists of America, and they were the students of Franz Boas. According to Ruth Benedict, the purpose of anthropology is to make the whole world safe for human differences. Yes, when there are differences, there will be difference in opinion, there will be difference in interest, but human beings have learned to live amicably and friendly with these differences. Further, the subject anthropology itself promotes humanism, humanistic outlook. So yes, we are learning these differences, upholding the human diversity, both physical and cultural diversities, respecting and appreciating people belonging to different races, people belonging to different societies and culture, no matter what. Yes, so by learning anthropology, you will be more humanistic in outlook. One, you will become wise. Second, you will have a more humanistic outlook. You will become more culturally relativistic. That means you put yourself in the shoes of others to see the things or the cultural elements and appreciate them. So this will minimize the differences, promote harmony and peace, cooperation and interdependence. So yes, this is a wonderful saying of Ruth Benedict. What is it? The purpose of anthropology is to make the whole world safe for human differences. Isn't it? After Ruth Benedict, what we have seen? What? Clyde Kluckhohn. Yes, according to him, out of all the sciences that study about various aspects of human being, the one which comes closest to the total study or various aspects of human being is anthropology. Yes, this you will understand shortly when we see the scope of anthropology, why it comes most closest out of all sciences that deals with various aspects of anthropology. Then after Clyde Kluckhohn, we have seen Charlotte Neely. Yes, what she says? Anthropology is more than a career. It is a way of life. In whatever I do, I am an anthropologist. Isn't it? We have already seen why it is well said. And simply, we also have drawn that anthropology is a part of our daily life, is a part of our life. Whether, as I said, whether you are learning anthropology or not learning anthropology, whether or whatever you are doing, every human being, by virtue of being a human being, is an anthropologist. Because as I said, curiosity only brought this subject into place, isn't it? Human being's curiosity to know about past, to know about present, and by knowing past and present we are predicting some future things, or maybe we are trying to overcome the problems that arise in the future, isn't it? So for example, we are doing we are sorry, industrial revolution took place, we have polluted the environment, which resulted in increase in pollution, as a result global warming, isn't it? That is why future we are predicting that the temperatures may increase by 1 to 2 degrees. So now again we are taking some measure to mitigate this global warming, isn't it? To minimize pollution by adopting different measures. So yes, anthropology is a part of life. In whatever we are doing, we become an anthropologist automatically. So you need not take extra efforts to become an anthropologist. You just need to be curious. Once you are curious, you will be able to learn this subject very easily. And it is moreover very interesting, for the matter of fact that these things you see across you, and you will not find any problem learning the subject per se, isn't it? So yes, that is the meaning of anthropology. So what is the scope of anthropology? So what do you understand by the term scope? Scope means the extent of study, or what this study of anthropology deals with. So you can write scope is the extent of study. Or different subjects that are studied under anthropology. That is the scope. What all things we are studying under anthropology. So it is the scope presents a very wide perspective, and the scope itself is very wide, because if you go according to the definitions that we have seen now, it is a holistic subject in which we are studying all possible aspects of human being. When we are saying all possible aspects of human being, that defines or that gives an idea about scope of anthropology. So what all subjects, or what are the different aspects of a human being defines its scope. What are they? We study about physical aspects or biological aspects of human being. We study about social aspects and cultural aspects of human being. Simply you can say socio-cultural aspects of human being. So we study about linguistic aspects of human beings. Linguistic aspects, what do you understand by the term linguistic? Related to language. Related to language. Then we study about archaeological aspects of human beings. So what is archaeological, or what do you understand by the term archaeology? It is the study of fossils, artifacts, monuments, etc. that we get through excavations, through digging of earth. So that aspects come under archaeological aspects, or the study of this ancient things comes under archaeology. So this is the scope of anthropology: studying about physical and biological aspects, studying about social and cultural aspects, studying about language, studying about archaeological things. So that is why we can say anthropology has 4 main branches, which you can see in 1.3: physical or biological anthropology, socio-cultural anthropology, linguistic anthropology, and archaeological anthropology, which are the 4 main branches of anthropology. So what is this? Studying about physical or biological aspects of human being at various levels, various times, and at different spaces becomes physical or biological anthropology. Study of socio-cultural aspects, that means study about societies and culture at different levels, different spaces, and different times, is what is known as socio-cultural anthropology. And studying about linguistic aspects of human beings comes under linguistic anthropology, and studying about archaeological aspects comes under archaeological anthropology. So this gives the scope of anthropology. We can see number of disciplines are there, and these happen to form the 4 main branches of anthropology. Many other branches are there. When you apply the knowledge that you have attained from these 4 different branches of anthropology, then it becomes applied anthropology. This term applied anthropology was coined by D.G. Brinton. Another term is there which is known as action anthropology, in which we use the knowledge of these branches to solve specific problems of human beings by trial and error method. So what we are doing here, we are using this knowledge to solve certain problems of human beings by trial and error method, which is known as action anthropology, which was a term coined by Saltax, a British anthropologist. Some scholars view that both of them are one and the same, applied anthropology and action anthropology. So our syllabus in paper 1 and paper 2 encompasses these elements. So syllabus is broadly fitting under the scope of anthropology. So we study about these aspects. So whether it is paper 1 or paper 2, we are going to study different aspects of this particular branches. Apart from that, some other latest branches are there. Maybe you can write developmental anthropology, public anthropology, entrepreneurial anthropology, marine anthropology, space anthropology, and a plethora of modern branches are there. Just to give you another perspective that some new branches of anthropology are also taking rounds in the magazines and other places. But nevertheless, anthropology has these four main branches. From these four main branches, we have applied anthropology and action anthropology. So now when we are studying about physical or biological anthropology, we are going to study about human biology. We are going to study about human variations. We are going to study about human evolution, and also we are going to study about human genetics. These are the various biological aspects. So this physical or biological anthropology overlaps with biological sciences and to some extent life sciences and also medical sciences. When you come to socio-cultural anthropology, you study about society and culture, where this branch of anthropology overlaps with sociology, it overlaps with political science, it overlaps with some other humanities. When you study about linguistic aspects, again language is related to society and culture, it has also overlap with some humanities and social sciences. Archaeological anthropology has overlapping with history and archaeology. So this scope also gives us the relationship of anthropology with other disciplines. What are they? Like social sciences, biological sciences, isn't it? And then behavioral sciences, medical sciences, earth sciences and humanities, isn't it? So yes, anthropology has relationship with other disciplines, making it interdisciplinary in nature, and then we are integrating all these disciplines in the study of human being. Integrated approach of these different disciplines justifies interdisciplinary in nature and its approach which is integrated, making it a holistic subject. Hope you understood, isn't it? So what is it doing? It is integrating this subject, these subjects, isn't it? So there is some overlap. It has relationships with different disciplines, interdisciplinary in nature, integrating these subjects to study all possible aspects of human being across time and space. That is why it becomes a holistic subject. Three words are very important: interdisciplinary in nature, integrated approach, making it a holistic subject. So what can we say? Scope is wide, a very broader perspective, isn't it? And we are studying different disciplines. This makes it even more interesting, because you will not be feeling monotonous. By the time you feel monotonous, we switch from one branch to another branch. And because we are studying different disciplines, it is also helpful for you to understand different subjects that you study in general studies, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, where you study history, polity, geography, isn't it? Environment, so many things, economics. So because of its interdisciplinary nature, in which you are studying different subjects, this anthropology for UPSC aspirants also helps you to understand other subjects. So by studying anthropology, some portions of general studies are also covered. such a bumper offer is not present in any other optional. And moreover, as I said, learning anthropology imparts wisdom according to Margaret Mead. It enables you to appreciate diversity, human diversity, because anthropology as a subject is upholding human diversity. So this is the beauty of anthropology. It makes a human being wise. It makes a human being culturally relativistic person, or culturally tolerant, culturally neutral, unbiased, because in this modern world we have so many differences in religion, differences in caste leading to communalism, differences in the color leading to racism, isn't it? All these things have created great wars. So by studying anthropology and upholding human diversity, anthropology as a subject promotes peace and harmony. Making a person more culturally neutral, unbiased, non-judgmental, because there is absolutely no point to judge an individual. There is also no point to judge other cultures, isn't it? Maybe we say that, okay, people of a particular country are eating some insects, some people are eating dogs, some people are eating some other different animals, some people are eating only vegetarian, isn't it? We have a tendency to make a mockery of people who do not comply with our culture, and we automatically say that we are superior and their practices are bad. This is a wrong notion. This is a completely wrong notion which many of the people have, even educated people also, isn't it? In the recent COVID-19 pandemic, you can see all people all over the world started focusing on Wuhan animal market, and I think people across, even we are also among them, we started criticizing that they are eating every living being which are in the water, which are crawling on land, or which are living on land, which are flying. They are living nothing, they are eating everything. Whichever has life, they are eating. And I think many of us and many newspapers, many people started openly criticizing their food habits. This is cultural intolerance. We have to respect. It is their way of life. It may be strange for us, but not for them. But by being culturally relativistic, you understand their culture from the insider's point of view. So yes, in this modern world, due to globalization, which is free movement of goods and services, free movement of people, it is very important that we have to be culturally relativistic, culturally neutral, unbiased, thereby preventing any form of discrimination. That is world perspective. In Indian perspective, we know that India is a pluralistic society, multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multi-linguistic, isn't it? That is why we call India a pluralistic society. It is also very important in Indian context to be culturally neutral. And after you get into this civil services, you may work in different parts of the country where you come across people belonging to different culture, and by being an anthropologist or by studying anthropology, you will be more aware of their culture and you will not be taken by cultural shocks. You will be quite inclusive in nature. You understand their culture better than others. You will be accommodative to the interests of others. You can take correct, appropriate decision by being unbiased, isn't it? So yes, coming back to the topic, we are seeing the scope from which we have seen these are the four main branches of anthropology, and then applied and action anthropology, and then we have seen various other branches of emerging branches of anthropology. And because of this only we call anthropology interdisciplinary in nature, integrated approach, and then it makes the subject a holistic subject. Yes. So this is the scope of anthropology. So far what we have seen the meaning of anthropology, we have seen the scope of anthropology. Next, development of anthropology. Anthropology as a subject came into existence because of what? Because of curiosity of human beings to know different aspects of human beings living across different parts of the world. So yes, now development of anthropology. So the first topic 1.1, meaning, scope and development of anthropology. We have seen meaning, we have seen scope, now we are seeing development. See, in this development of anthropology, two perspectives are there. Development of anthropology in the world, and development of anthropology in Indian context. See, even though anthropology is regarded as an youngest subject or relatively modern subject, but the study of man or the study of human being is not a new phenomenon. Even though the subject is new, the study of human being or study of different societies and culture, or study of marriage system, or study of political system, or socio-cultural aspects, or economical aspects, or political aspects is not a new phenomenon. So anthropology, the study of human beings, is since times immemorial. So in this perspective, as I said, we will see the development of anthropology in the world and development of anthropology in India. This is a topic given in paper 2, where we are going to study the development of anthropology in Indian context. But here, just to overview, we will see both that of world and India. See, according to T.K. Penniman, in his book, according to T.K. Penniman, in his book 100 Years of Anthropology, 100 Years of Anthropology, in 1935, he gave this development of anthropology in the world in 4 phases. In 4 phases. What is first one? First one is formative phase or formulatory phase, which is before 1835. That means since human evolution or human inception of the societies and culture till 1835, he gives under formative or formulatory period or phase. Then convergent period or convergent phase, which is from 1835 to 1859. And then constructive period or phase from 1859 to 1900. And the fourth phase he calls critical period or critical phase, 1900 onwards to present. So these are the 4 phases or periods according to T.K. Penniman, and this 4 phases he has given in his book. What is it? 100 years of anthropology in 1935. 1935. Coming to Indian perspective, as the same thing applies here, in ancient India, the great epics like Ramayana, Mahabharata and many other books have given socio-cultural, economical and political aspects of people living in that particular era. Even in medieval India, different scholars, writers also have given an account of the social conditions which were prevailing during that particular period. And modern India, after the advent of British, also different accounts of societies and cultures have given into or are provided or given by the scholars in their writings, in the books that we study, and we come to know about, okay, people living in that particular area or particular period in that particular area or during that particular time were living in these conditions, isn't it? So that is also what is anthropology. But nevertheless, in Indian context, different scholars like Majumdar, L.P. Vidyarthi, have classified or have given 3 phases, which are formative phase, constructive phase and analytical phase. They have different durations, but I want to give the most recent and the most appropriate one, which was given by Bosu Roy in the early 2000s, in the first part, I think 2003 or 2004. Bosu Roy has given the development of anthropology in India in 4 phases. According to Majumdar and L.P. Vidyarthi, 3 phases. What are they? Formative, constructive and analytical. Bosu Roy, these 3 plus 1 analytical, isn't it? What are they? No, not analytical. formative, constructive, analytical and evaluative. Fourth one is what? Evaluative. So formative, period or phase, constructive, period or phase, analytical, period or phase, and then you have evaluative, period or phase. So formative phase 1774 to 1919, constructive phase 1920 to 1949, analytical phase 1950 to 1989, evaluative phase 1990 onwards to present. We will see more details about this development of anthropology in the world later on, and we will see the development of anthropology in Indian perspective in paper 2. So more details are yet to be given. This is just the introduction to make you feel comfortable, and more things we will see in the subsequent classes. This is not the whole information, this is just an idea. Understood? So anthropology development world, T.K. Penniman 100 years of anthropology, 4 phases. Anthropology development in India, Majumdar, L.P. Vidyarthi, 3 phases, only these 3, time frames vary. Basuroy, 3+1 evaluative phase, and we will see more details as I said in the later classes. Yes. So today we started with the introduction to anthropology. We will quickly summarize so that we can recall whatever has been taught. So first we started anthropology. The term was coined by Aristotle, derived from the 2 Greek words. What are they? Anthropos and logos. Anthropos means man, logos means study of man. And according to Alfred L. Kroeber, the most simplest definition is this: anthropology is the science of man. And we said man is not a gender neutral term because it doesn't represent the other gender, women. So due to feminist movements and growing awareness, anthropology, which is the study of man, was changed to a more gender neutral term. Man was replaced by, don't say women, is replaced by human being, which is a more gender neutral term. So it is very advisable to write gender neutral terms. What are they? Like, say for example, a gender neutral term is person. Wherever you write, you have to write person generally, because as a UPSC aspirant you have to show that you are a liberal man, not biased. So you write better person. Or maybe if you are writing he, write she also. Or maybe you can write like this, which includes both the genders. Now, when you are taking these two, generally it may not include the third gender. So more appropriate one is to write person wherever possible. Otherwise, simply write human being. But in general studies, we cannot use human being time and again and frustrate the evaluator. So better use person. If at all you are using he, please write she, or otherwise. But in this context, what is happening? You are not presenting the third gender. advisable to write person or generally human being. Isn't it? So yes. So the word man was replaced by a gender neutral term human being. So it is the science of or the study of human being, isn't it? So this is about the term and its meaning. A most holistic definition or the most detailed, in-depth definition which gives a deeper meaning of the subject anthropology is the one which we have discussed later. What is this? Anthropology is a holistic subject which deals with all possible aspects of human being or various aspects of human being at different levels, different times and different spaces. Further, it is interdisciplinary in nature and has an integrated approach. Why it is holistic subject? Because we are studying different disciplines, different subjects integrated into anthropology. That is why interdisciplinary in nature, isn't it? What are the various aspects of human being that we are studying, which also defines the scope of anthropology? What are they? Physical or biological, socio-cultural, linguistic, archaeological anthropology. So these happens to be the 4 main branches of anthropology. Also gives the scope, the extent of study of anthropology, different subjects that are dealt with anthropology. This also gives us a clue that anthropology's relationship with different sciences and different social sciences like medical science, life sciences, humanities, earth sciences, behavioral sciences, what not, everything. Yes or no? Then we have seen some definitions given by different scholars, in which we have seen Margaret Mead, Ruth Benedict, isn't it? Melville J. Herskovits, Clyde Kluckhouse, isn't it? Charlotte Neely. And we, to some extent, we wanted to understand the meaning of anthropology and the different definitions and quotations given by anthropologists and other social scientists. Yes, sir. So that was the first part of our study, meaning of anthropology. Hope you understood, isn't it? If you have any questions, you can ask me after the class. Okay. Then next one is after meaning, scope, isn't it? Scope we have seen physical or biological, socio-cultural, linguistic, archaeological. Applied aspect is applied anthropology. And when we are using this knowledge to solve human problems by trial and error method, it also becomes action anthropology. The term applied anthropology was given by D.G. Brinton, and the term action anthropology was given by Saltax, a British anthropologist. And we have also seen some of the emerging branches of anthropology, not limited to these main branches like space, marine, public, entrepreneurial, so many other branches of anthropology. Then we have seen the development of anthropology from world perspective and then from Indian perspective. So development of anthropology in the world, according to T.K. Penniman, in 100 years of anthropology, 4 phases. What are formative, convergent, constructive, and then you have critical. So formative before 1835, convergent 1835 to 1859, constructive 1859 to 1900, and then finally critical period is 1900 onwards. And then development of anthropology in India. Majumdar, LP Vidyarthi have given 3 phases: formative, constructive, analytical. And then Basurai, these 3 plus 1, what are they? Formative, constructive, analytical and evaluative. Formative is from 1774 to 1919. Constructive is from 1920 to 1949. Analytical 1950 to 1989. Evaluative phase 1990 onwards. And we are going to see more details of this in the subsequent classes. In India, development of anthropology in India and paper 2, and after the completion of paper 1, again we will come back to this topic so that you will have a better understanding of whatever has been taught today. Understood? So that concludes 1.1, meaning, scope and development of anthropology. Okay. So any questions, you can contact me after the class. So we will stop here, and the next topic 1.2 and 1.3 we will see tomorrow. Thank you so much.